Welcome back to another episode of the Wavering Wayfinders, and this week we're discussing everything about packing and traveling light. So I'm here with Diana.
Hello.
Who's always a welcomed face on the podcast, and we are going to be discussing some of these things. So why don't you start us off with your first tip?
So my first tip is to do a checklist about everything that you want to bring. Like everything that comes through your mind, just write it down. And then when you need to do the suitcase, be reasonable about what you really need to bring on your travel, because sometimes we tend to just pack a lot of things that are unnecessary, and the checklist help us to not forget things that we want to bring, but at the same time make us realize what we really need to bring with us. So this is my first tip.
Absolutely, and I agree with you right there. And when it comes to packing, I usually say don't fold and just roll, because all the time we think about packing our bags, we fold our clothes very neatly and we think this must be the best way to do it. No, it's not. If you roll your clothes, you actually end up saving a lot more space. So your t-shirts, your jeans, your tops, just give them a roll and you'll end up with a lot more space in your bag. And I personally started doing this a couple of years ago, and it literally revolutionized my packing strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And also when you roll the clothes, you can fit them in more space. Like you use the entire space of the suitcase or the bag that you bring with you. So if you can also squeeze the clothes inside your shoes, or squeeze the clothes in every single corner of the suitcase. So it's really helpful.
Absolutely, and that's a good point you spoke about there. Using the inside of your shoes to fit clothes, and to some extent some toiletry as well, or even your jewelry. It just makes it a lot easier. Right, when we move on to my next point, you've got to wear your heaviest items. I think this works probably best in winter, but all year round, because catching a flight tends to be you feel warm when you're in the airport, but the minute you're in the air, it's really cold because the AC is going, and so it's an idea that maybe wear that jacket you have, or a couple of sweaters, or even double layer with 2 t-shirts. It can be fashionable as well.
And also another tip when it comes to clothes, if you like to wear and bring with you a lot of outfit because you want to be fashionable during your trip, just use a space bag. Those bags that you can those plastic bags that you can just put inside everything, and then like bring out the air. So you squeeze your clothes, and
like the compression bags.
Exactly. Yeah. Those ones are really helpful for all the girls out there that want to bring a lot of outfit with them when they want to travel. And also, if you are a person that needs to move to another country, this air bag are really helpful, because you can really put a lot of clothes, also a lot of clothes that are heavy and tends to just occupy a lot of space inside the suitcase. Then you squeeze them, and they're so tiny, and and you can put them in the suitcase easily.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. And when we're on that same point of optimizing the clothes you bring, we've got to think about versatile pieces. So I would imagine, especially for girls, it's a lot easier. You can bring a scarf that doubles as a top, and loads of other examples that I probably don't know because I'm not super fashionable. But the idea is definitely to use pieces that can create 1, 2, or even more outfits.
Yeah, have the basic items like the white and the black t-shirt with a jeans and a skirt. There's a black skirt that can go with a lot of type of t-shirt, and then a basic and really comfortable shoes, because when you travel you tend to walk a lot usually, so comfortable shoes is the way to go, not high heels, if you don't need to go to a gala or something somewhere fancy. So yeah, being really reasonable what you want to bring with you, especially when it comes to clothes.
Absolutely. I think that's a good point. With the next point, I was thinking more about bringing toiletries and, you know, your little bits of moisturizer, perfume, and facial soap and stuff like that. You can actually get little travel-sized containers that you can fill with just as much liquid as you need. And that saves you so much space rather than having to bring your big shampoo bottle or your big moisturizer bottle.
Yeah, and also so much weight, because when it comes to travel, you need to be careful about the weight of your suitcase, because not always you can bring with you the big suitcase. You need to fit everything in a small suitcase that usually are 8 kilos and not 23 kilos. So also that is helpful when it comes to the weight of your suitcase.
Yeah, my next point would be, you've got to think about, in the age we're living in today, it's a lot easier to keep things online. And when I say that, it's minimizing on the receipts down to booking papers and even down to books. So we know, like, a book, whichever way you put it in your bag, it takes a lot of space. But in today's world, you can have thousands of books on your phone, on your iPad. You can save your check-in details, your flight ticket, and all of that right on your phone. But those little bits of space that you're saving by not carrying these pieces in your luggage can be used for something else.
Yeah, especially when it comes to books. I am a reader and I love to bring books with me. But when I fly, I can't, especially those books that are really, really big. So in that case, really comes helpful the Kindle. Like in my Kindle, I have thousands of books, and it just, it's flat, tiny, and it doesn't occupy a lot of space. And I know it's not my favorite things to do, but when it comes to travel, it's helpful. So yeah. And also when it comes to technology, be careful where you put your technology when you do your suitcase, because usually you need to bring your technology with you, especially if you don't want to get robbed, also if you don't want to lose them. And we are both photographers, so I think that we both put our camera in our backpack and
carry on. Yep.
Yeah. And we don't lose sight of it because we are so scared. It's like our baby, okay?
Exactly.
So the same comes to, your computer, your phone, and etc. Like, your technology needs to be near your carry-on or with your backpack. And also just be careful of also the adapter that you need to bring with you when you go to another country, because once I went to America and I forgot about this thing that Americans have another adapter that I usually use. So I was like, hey, and now what I do? How I charge my phone right now?
Yes, and that's such a good point you said on the adapter, because it's so expensive to buy that adapter in the airport. You know what I mean? So if you can get it before you even travel in your home country, you'll be saving a bit of money, because the minute you cross into the airport, that's usually when you remember and you're like, oh my goodness, I need to get one to charge my phone and, all my electronics. So the earlier you get that, the better.
Also because in our airport, like, everything costs a lot more. The bottle of water is like €5 here. Like, no, that is something is illegal that the water costs so much in an airport.
It's insane. Oh, and another thing would be to carry, we might not have covered this, like the exact same thing. Carry an empty bottle, drink the water before security, and keep it in your backpack, so that when you get past security, you can refill it for free in the airport. Most airports these days will let you do that.
There are little fountains also sometimes.
Yeah. because you don't want to be buying a bottle of water in the airport. It's so overpriced.
Yeah, and bring with you the empty bottle because it's helpful. And you
It's
need
helpful.
to be hydrated during the flight, even though
Absolutely.
you know the bathroom are not that clean, but hydration during the flight is important. So
It is extremely important. So you might want to carry some of that, also the hydration moisturizer as well, because you can get very dry in the air. We're on to the next point, which I'm sure that you're having to deal with right before your trip right now, is you've got to weigh in before you leave. So what does that mean? You've got to get a scale or come up with some creative ways to weigh your bags before you leave. You don't want any surprises when you get to the airport.
yeah, you don't want to be there and open your suitcase in front of everyone and try to understand how to divide the weight between suitcases and your backpack. So yeah, it's something that I did when I was younger with my mom, that we tend to overpack and then we are like, oh, now what we do. So yeah, and usually you get you need to pay more if you want to put a suitcase that weight more than the kilo that they say that you need to bring. So if you know that you need to have a heavy suitcase with you and you go over the 23 kilos, just buy another one. It's cheaper than pay more for just the...
Absolutely. Yeah, extra weight per kg works out to be much more expensive than just checking another bag. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. No one likes repacking their bags when everyone else is looking at them and judging. Yeah. Another point I do have here is pack it forward. This philosophy is probably referring to pack some space in your bag for items you're willing to give away. Be it if you're donating it, if you're going to see family and friends, gifts that you're giving away, because that means that you're going to have an empty suitcase on the way back. And we know that every time you travel, you need some space for some extra souvenirs and little treats.
You bring when you go to visit a family, you bring with you the present for them, and then they give you present for you. So you need to be careful and remind that you need space for presents and souvenirs. And also because when you travel, you tend to buy and also clothes or anything at all. So yeah, especially when you travel to some place that you really want to travel. We want to go to Japan, and we know that when we are going to Japan, we are going to buy a lot of stupid things because Japan is dead.
Absolutely. You're going to come back with these little toys that do absolutely nothing but just look cute.
Yeah, exactly. So when you go to certain places and you really know that you're going to buy a lot of things, or bring with you another backpack where you're going to put all the present there, or just be careful when you do your suitcase and keep in mind that you need that space also when you go back home.
I've got some, at least one bonus tip, and just something for people to keep in mind when packing. With travel, you've got to try your hardest to employ a minimalistic mindset, because anytime you travel, your brain is already working overtime to try and gather all the things you think you need on that travel. And most of the time, the amount of times I've gone with a pair of shoes and not even worn them once when I'm traveling is actually quite sad. So you need to keep tricking your brain and telling it, no, I don't need those 5 pairs of shoes for my 2-week trip. You've got to have it like a little game and challenge yourself to pack only your essentials, and then leave some room for spontaneous finds and souvenirs. Oh, I've got a little bonus trick that we probably haven't covered. You can get a small bag that folds up really small and put that in your carry-on. So when you go to duty free, if you do feel the need to buy something in duty free, like cologne or snacks or whatever, you can actually put it into that small bag and just have that sitting on top of your carry bag. International flights, they probably won't care if you have your carry-on, your backpack, and a tiny little bag with you that has all these things inside of it. It just makes it easier. It's almost the same thing with like a fanny pack or a travel bag that you can wear. I know that domestic and flights in the EU, and I've seen also flights between cities here in Canada, they've started counting the travel fanny pack as your personal item. But when we're traveling internationally, it's kind of just like a wallet. So there's space for that.
It's true. It's definitely true. Last time that I went to Spain, I just had my backpack, and then I was buying something in the airport, and I had these bags that you can just unfold them, and I was putting there the things that I was buying, and then when I was doing my check-in, and they say, well, this is another bag with you. You need to check this also. I say, no, that is not true. So I don't know how, but I squeezed everything into my backpack, so I didn't need to pay for more.
Absolutely. So it's always, as you said, it's probably important to check exactly the rules before you do that, because you can end up.
And also every single airline have their rules, so be careful and check before preparing for the flight, and also while you're doing your suitcase, just check that everything that you do is following the rule of the airline.
Absolutely. So that's all the points I have. And Diana, if you have any bonus points, are we good?
Well, I think we are good. We are really good. We cover most of the points and all the tips that we have. And maybe if we come up with other tips, we are going to do another episode about how to pack with when you need to travel.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Those are the tips and tricks we have for packing for travel, be it a weekend trip, be it a month-long trip, or even if you're moving countries for a longer period of time. So obviously stay tuned for more videos, and we're happy to help.